There's no place like home, is there? The Saints are marching into southwest London for our final outing for the international break. The sun isn't quite out. It's a very chilly autumnal Saturday afternoon inside Stamford Bridge, but it is Chelsea versus Southampton in the Premier League. Kick-off coming your way at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Hello and welcome to Matchday Live. It's been a busy week for Chelsea. We are back at home though, and this is where it gets real. Premier League football is what it's about. I'm joined in the studio by a Matchday Live debutant. Sam, how are you, mate? You well?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I had to do that, pre-match ritual, first game of the season for me. So, yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Mate, it's an absolute pleasure. It's been lovely to get to know you this morning, and I'm very excited about this because your Chelsea knowledge is bang on as well. So I'm really hyped for this, mate. Not just yourself as well. We are joined by a very regular guest on the show in Savage Dan, who's going to be joining us on Zoom as well. Dan, are you good, mate?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well. We're going to get to all things coming Chelsea very, very soon. Let's take a little look to see what's going on this afternoon show. Then, shall we? Very, very soon, we will bring you breaking team news from Stamford Bridge, which is going to be interesting, I suppose. We'll have to find out what changes Thomas Tuchel is going to make after, like we said, a very busy week with Chelsea travelling away in the Champions League. We will then have the social for you very, very soon in the next 10-15 minutes or so. Warm-ups live from Stamford Bridge exclusively on the Fifth Stand app. Live commentary of Chelsea versus Southampton 5 minutes before kick-off, and then we'll be back on the pulse at full time for a big old reaction to hopefully 3 points Chelsea against Southampton. Right, let's start then, boys. We've got to talk about this week, I suppose, haven't we? Back-to-back defeats for the first time under Thomas Tuchel, Sam. I suppose the troubling aspect is that we haven't created a lot of chances in that time.
Yeah, I think that's an issue that we've seen with the Juve and City game, but we've got to remember the people that we've come up against. We've come up against the Premier League champions and a team like Juventus with such pedigree, especially in the Champions League. We know how good they defend, and on their day, they can stop anyone from scoring. So I don't think it's that bad, you know what I mean? I feel there's been a lot of panic. I've seen on socials a lot of people panicking, saying that we're not creating chances, but it's still early on in the season, and I think this is a good time for this blip to happen because now we can bounce back. We've got a few good games that we can definitely win. So, yeah, man, I don't think it's time to panic yet, man. No,
I'm absolutely with you there, mate. Let's have a little look at some of the reaction that we've seen on social media over the last couple of days to the last couple of games for Chelsea. This is from Guy. On the balance of play, Chelsea don't deserve to be losing this, but there is something missing in how we are playing. Outside of the goal, we have control play, but we cannot create. It's from Guy, and this one as well from Yasuki is, Juventus were sitting too deep. It seems Chelsea have problems when teams do that. Dan, we've seen this fairly regularly, I suppose, and it's not just Chelsea's problem. We see it a lot in football, but teams that do sit deep and, I suppose, don't want to engage too much can cause problems for teams to break down.
Yeah, Wolves do it. A lot of teams do it, to be fair. When you're coming up against a team that you know is the superior footballing team, I feel like it's quite normal for you to soak up pressure and then pounce and see what you can get on a break. And they happen to score a goal within 11 seconds of the second half, and that kind of it gives them an extra bit of something to defend. And we tried to do something similar to City, and it didn't work. And if I could have picked 2 games throughout the season to have lost, it probably would have been those 2 because they were ones that we could afford to lose comfortably. It doesn't really drop us out of position. It only allows Man City to catch up with us. And we're still, kind of in the driving seat, I suppose, in the Champions League.
Yeah, completely right. Let's have a little look at a few more tweets, a bit more reaction then from the week on social media. And Chelsea fans, I suppose, understandably are, slightly concerned, but we've been in such an amazing position that you can't really consume it either, can you? This from Sean. Chelsea lack balance. Not sure I quite agree with this one, but for us to score more, we need to overload the box, which will leave us exposed at the back. For us to be good defensively, we have to overload defensive areas, leaving too little up top. We don't have balance. We did win the Champions League 5 months ago, in fairness, but last season, Chelsea were creating chances and there was no one to finish them. Now, Chelsea have a finisher in Lukaku, but he's not getting a lot of chances. I suppose there is that, Sam, in the fact that we do have to always remember that is the formation, the way that we play was so successful last season. Like you just said, maybe there is an element of we can't panic. We're not going to win every game. That's football. Yeah,
and literally what you just said, you're going to lose certain games. And like Dan said, these are the perfect... If there are going to be any games that you would want to lose, it's those 2 games, because the reality is you can almost see where you went wrong, because I don't think Tuchel got it terribly wrong in terms of his tactics. I just think the other team, City, played very well. They pressed us well. Juventus defended very well. But now, like we've all said, the chances that we're creating, it's not been up to what we wanted. So it's almost, we'll go into this game against Southampton, see where we can make the tweaks and see what we can do to get Lukaku those chances and the players in and around him. Completely
agree. And Dan, there is that, isn't there, that we were so successful last year on the road and in Champions League games by deploying a fairly, I suppose, regimented system that we don't concede goals, we don't give up chances. We're not getting beaten well and truly in any game. You know, the 2 games we've lost, we're talking about 1-0 defeats to, like Sam said, Juventus and Manchester City. This is certainly, if this is a blip by any team's standard, you take it on the chin because they're games that you're in and it can go either way.
They're both games that you'd probably take a draw if you was offered it before the game. Juventus are European giants. And to be fair, we had the lion's share of that game. We were the ones probing and trying to create something. We just couldn't because they have Bonucci at the back and they brought on Chiellini and they're just so... That is what they do. They may not have done it very well this season, but they found a way to do it against us. Man City are probably the only team that can match us for football in the Premier League, I'd say. And we employed a tactic to beat them, which has worked the last 3 times, and they were just out of races, and we were a bit flat, and we're missing a couple of players, and it's absolutely nothing to worry about. We're not looking terrible. We're not getting jumped 3-0 every time we go out there. It's fine.
Completely agree, mate. Completely agree. Let's get you some live breaking team news then from Stamford Bridge. This is the side that Thomas Tuchel has selected for Chelsea this afternoon. In goal, Edouard Mendy. Potentially a back 3 of Trevor Chalobah, Thiago Silva, Antonio Rudiger, Ben Chilwell one side, Cesar Azpilicueta the other, Mateo Kovacic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Timo Werner, Romelu Lukaku and Callum Hudson-Odoi. But I think that this immediately screams to me, Sam, is there's 3 or 4 players that could be playing in completely different positions in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
You've got Trevor Chalobah, we saw play in midfield in midweek. Aspi could play in the back 3. Hudson-Odoi could play right wing back. It could be a 3-5-2. It could be a 3-4-3. It could be a 3-4-1-2. It's that flexibility. If we're questioning it, Southampton are doing the same.
Definitely. And I think I'm surprised, but I'm excited at the same time because I think Loftus-Cheek has definitely proved in the last few games that he deserves a call-up to the team. I think Hudson-Odoi has been screaming to play in behind the striker, even though he's done well at right wing-back. And Chalobah, he's not put a foot wrong. So I'm excited to see what the boys can do today, man.
Dan, we're talking about 3 players there as well. Trevor Chalobah, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We had this chat in midweek. Players that you know it means a lot to represent this football club. Players that can play in a number of positions and you know you're always going to get everything left out on the pitch from. It's so refreshing to see them, but also in the same way, like we just said there with Sam, could be playing in a number of positions. Wherever, though, you trust them because they're part of this squad and Thomas Tuchel trusts them.
Yeah, and it looks like everyone's playing in their preferred position, or maybe not preferred, but certainly where they can definitely be trusted. Callum, in the top 3, doesn't have to worry so much about his defensive duties. Chalobah in a back 3, you know, I feel like that's what we've seen in the majority of the time, and he's been excellent there. Ruben is just gliding through midfield at the moment. In both our losses, he was probably the player that stood out most. So I'm excited as well. And to be fair, I'm not like you two. I actually expect that formation and that system to look like that on the pitch. I think they'll stay in those positions.
Really? Okay, that's interesting. I suppose that's what's brilliant. We've got Dan and we've got Ben and Jason up in the gantry for us as well. Boys, what do you make of that?
Right. Well, we're not quite with you on that graphic, if I'm honest. Which, as you say, if we're all talking about it, we had Trev in midfield, which he played a bit of in midweek, with Ruben in behind Timo and Lukaku. So Aspi in the back 3. There's a very technical-looking sheet you can see here. Callum back in as right wing back. So more a 3-4-1-2, like Joe was just suggesting there. Lots of interesting things on it, not least Jason, how it's going to line up.
Yep.
5 changes, though, is the big thing. Half the outfield team changed.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Benjamin. Yes, there's changes been made, and I think when you look back at the 2 performances and results, you kind of hope and expect something to change. And he's done that. He's shuffled his pack, and that's exactly what you should do when you've got a deep squad like he has. One shot on target over the last 2 games is one of those you go, OK, yeah, it's concerning. That has to change. And with the way that Southampton will probably play today is something you'd expect that it kind of did against Man City. They got a point away at Man City, so don't forget that's probably the way they're going to play today. So I'm not surprised to see changes at all.
Ben Chilwell, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, they're 2 that jump out at me because both with a bit to prove. Come on, Ruben, here's a start. Important game after 2 defeats. Ben Chilwell, obviously, we've talked about a fair bit previously. He gets a go.
Yeah. Look, I love Ruben. I love him. And he's been so unlucky with with certain things that have happened, managerial changes, injuries in particular, going out on loan to clubs that struggle, but there has to be a point where he steps up and proves me right, please, because there's a player in there. And we saw when he come off the bench what he can do. He glides, he's powerful, he's like a heavyweight boxer with the speed that he can travel through the middle of the park, but also got those little delicate touches that you need as well. So yes, I'm really pleased to see that he's in the side. What do we do in terms of shape? I don't think the shape is going to change a great deal, but the personnel really asks questions. What is it? It's definitely a 3 at the back, probably. But you would expect there to be a 4 and a 2 and a 1 or 3 somewhere up top. But look, that's fascinating to see exactly what Tuchel does do today.
Well, third game in a row without Mason, except today he is back on the bench. Is it a coincidence or is it just a fact it's City and Juve? For my money, a lot of hysteria about these two defeats. These are two incredibly difficult games, two of the hardest games. They just happen to have happened back-to-back, so you can't quite call it isolated, but a double isolated incident, if that isn't a contradiction in terms. I think hysteria might be a little bit more justified were Chelsea to not beat Southampton and Norwich, say, over the next few games. That too with the shots on goal. Obviously, yeah, Lukaku's gone a bit quiet. He's got a great record against Southampton. He's actually got a great record. People have often in the past, Jason, called him a flat-track bully. Now, he does score a huge volume of goals against lesser sides. That is just someone he is. Did we see him at Anfield? No, there were 10 men. Did we see him Juve City? Not really.
No, I think when you look at he made a great point there about the opposition. So he faced City, high press, really did well, limited chances in the box. He did have some chances midweek. There was a header on the left foot. He scuffed his shot, but the evidence that I see, there's not a lot of quality going into him. So what is he good at? He's good now, I think. He's back to goal on the edge of the box. Were there enough passes going into his feet? No, because Juve stopped that. They absolutely there was a blanket right in front of him to stop those balls going to his feet. So then what do you do? Got to go wide. As soon as they go wide, that blanket then drops deep, becomes another blanket on the edge of the 6-yard box. It was really difficult to get him into the game. But when those chances come, you got to take them. And he had 2. One half chance, one a decent chance, and he didn't quite hit the target on either of those. So there's where the criticism is going to come. But look, if they're going to set up today, Southampton, and limit us to getting the ball to Lukaku's feet, we have to come up with another formula. And the ball's out wide. Get the width. Use the width of the pitch. That's what we have to do, Ben.
We shall see. Juve's blanket worked very well. Man City can do that to absolutely anyone, so let's not have too much hysteria about a pair of 1-0s, even if the shots were a little on the shy side, which they were. It's all coming back today. Rom's going to score twice. That's good news, by the way, because Theo Walcott will definitely score because he does it every single time he plays Chelsea. Back to you lot in there.
Well said, boys, well said. And I enjoyed the fact that Ben got a couple of digs into Jason Cundy early, because we know that stood beside Jason Cundy will get a lot of those bounces back during the game. Let's have a little look at some of the social media reaction then to the lineup that we're seeing from Thomas Tuchel this afternoon. Hudson-odoi, that's the Steve Bruce fever. Steve Bruce running about 1,000 mile an hour, which is incredible. Golden Boot charge continues today. Yeah, love that. As Ben was saying, hopefully two will do. Oh my God, this lineup is perfect. Tuchel, you beauty. Yes, Ben, love that, mate. A lot of positive reaction coming in, which we're enjoying as well. Well, now it's time for the social. Yes, welcome to the social, the part of the show where we dig through the whole of social media to bring you the most trending topics of the week. We'll go behind enemy lines with Kenzie Benali. We've got a quiz to put the boys on their toes. We've got a very special strolling down Fulham Road, and in case you missed it, which is a brighter look across social media. The theme of today's show is players to played for both clubs. Okay, there's been 11 players in total. I'm going to test your knowledge on that a little bit later. We're going to start with show and tell, which we do every single week, which is there are 3 goals from players that have played for both Chelsea and Southampton. Very important goals they've scored for us as well. Myself and the boys have picked a goal each, so you've got the length of the clip to explain why you think it's the best goal, Sam, all right? And then yourself in the comments can vote as to which one you think. I've had quite a good record on this recently. Okay. I think I'm probably putting ranks. I'm the only one that sees the figures as well, so you boys have no idea exactly. If I'm telling you the truth or not, but that's not the point. OK, let's start with your goal then, Sam. Go on.
OK, so this goal from Mark Hughes, it was in 1997. I was 3 years old, and he headed it over the defender and he volleyed it with his left foot. The kit is beautiful, and It's just a beautiful strike, to be honest. I don't think he would have expected it to go over the defender in that manner, but to take it like this on the left foot across the keeper, and I think that we needed to score that goal to either equalise or it was an important goal. But like I said, I was free at the time, so didn't really know what was going on. But an amazing goal.
That's a great goal against Vicenza. And again, if that's Dennis Bergkamp, he doesn't mean that header, but because it's Mark Hughes, it's meant it. Dan, I've given you this goal, mate. So you're up next with Wayne Bridge.
Oh my gosh! How can I forget 2-1? Oh my! I mean, look, I'm getting excited again. We needed that. We beat them 2-1, Champions League, and off we went into the semi-finals, I believe. Huge goal, Hernan Crespo. This was the beginning of our era in the Champions League. I think we had the Tinkerman as the manager, and it began our journey. We became European giants at some point after this.
Yeah, completely agree. That was a time when Arsenal were decent as well, wasn't it? They were very decent. That's around Invincibles time. Yeah, very important goal. Two very good ones. I've dialed it back a little bit longer from one man that is an absolute legend at this club. I'm going to let the commentary do its work here, I think.
Hutchinson. Cook takes it up. Osgood's got on his run. And there's the ball coming in. Osgood!
What a ball as well, though.
Charlie Cook with a cross. Peter Osgood, one of a million goals he scored for Chelsea. Look at this for a header. Scored in every round of that FA Cup run. And that's the shirt that we had remade fairly recently as well, as you'll remember. Beautiful kit, beautiful player, beautiful header. The pitch as well does him no favours. The cross has been dug out. Beautiful header. Get your comments in below as to who you think won that one. It's a tight one, I think. Bridge, Osgood or Hughes? That is a tough one. Let's move on to trending now then. And it starts with something that we knew was going to come. Time for Ruben. It has to be, doesn't it? Hashtag time for Ruben. So you can get involved with that if you fancy it. This is from Dope. Considering the last 3 games in which Ruben Loftus-Cheek featured, I think he deserves a start this weekend. Man's getting hotter while Chelsea midfield seems not gelling together recently. I like that. Next one. That Ruben Loftus-Cheek cameo was the most positive part of today's match. Massive performance to build on personally, and I think that'll do a lot for his confidence. Yeah, I completely agree with that one as well. And Loftus-Cheek, best player on the pitch when he came on. It's time to start him now. Sam, over the last couple of weeks, it's all saying that Ruben has come on exception. This is the player that we know we've got there.
Yeah, and I think he's obviously had some turbulent times while he's been at Chelsea on loans as well. But I think he's one of those players that every Chelsea fan wants to see do well, just because he's come through the ranks and we've seen snippets of how good he is. And people are questioning, would he be able to come into this squad because we signed Saul and we've got so many people in the team. But at the same time, I think Tuchel did so well in pre-season, giving everyone an equal chance, and Loftus-Cheek took it, and now he's getting his opportunity, and now he's starting today. So yeah, hopefully he can, kick on and challenge, Jorginho, Kanté and Kovacic for those starting positions.
Mate, it's a great point. Pre-season he was sensational, one of the standout performers. Lee Parker, I tell you, obviously travelled to Ireland with him, Dan, and everything like that. He was brilliant pre-season. But a month ago, when we signed Saul, when there's 3 or 4 players ahead of him, you probably don't see this from Ruben, but because he's so good, when he gets that opportunity, he's taking it.
As soon as Saul came, it almost seemed as though it was going to be those 4, N'Golo, Matteo, Jorginho and Saul. And Ruben's found a way to bully his way back in. He has actually got some of the attributes that the others don't have, where the others are either beautiful passes or very silky on the ball or brains almost. He has the kind of, get out of trouble, I'm just going to drive at you. He's the one that is the more attacking naturally of the 4 or of the 5 now. And I think he is the one that is probably most important to linking the midfield to the front 3. So I like our balance. We've got different combinations that we can use for different times of the season and different games. But everyone's known it for years and years. There is a very, very, very good player in there.
I completely agree, and there's a lot of social media reaction to Ruben getting the nod. Rightly so. It's a really good point as well on Ruben Loftus-Cheek, which is he might be the answer against quality sides like Man City, someone that can use his strength, skill, pace and can hold the ball further forward. Exactly what you're saying there, Dan. Sam, his versatility is so key to this Chelsea team because we've no idea where he's playing today. He might be playing as a 10, he might be playing as a 6, he might be playing as a 1 of 3 in the middle. But because he's got all those attributes, he can do them all.
That's the thing. Southampton, they're going to have to struggle to play against him because he can just pick up different positions and he can do so well in there. But also, I think at his time at Chelsea and even at other clubs, he's he's wanted to play that centre mid role. We all know he can do that so well, but he's been pushed out left wing, right wing, in behind the striker, which he can do as well. But I think now that Tuchel's trusted him as that centre mid to, you know, pick up certain positions, drive at defences, it's given him that confidence that, like, he's got a quality manager that believes in him, a quality team around him, and now he's just going to thrive.
Oh, completely right. Everton have beaten Manchester United 2-1, by the way, which is
lovely.
Very good. Oh, it's been a VAR. It's been VAR. Dan, hang on. I've had Stockley Park in me here. Sorry, boys. I've got everyone excited there. I do apologise. Dan, like Sam's saying there, he's so important to this team as well because he's not only is he versatile, but his attitude has been first class. And there's enough players that have got the ability that Ruben have, when they've come back from injuries, you know, get quite down about it. He seems like such a positive character that's really shown, no, I've got the mental attributes to come back from this as well. And that can't be sort of shelved, that the mental attribute to get back into the position he is and performing at the level he is such a massive character trait.
Yeah, he's very, very brave. I remember, actually, it was we were playing Southampton, I believe, on Boxing Day, and I bumped into him at the bridge, and he hadn't started training again, but he said that his Achilles didn't even feel like it was his at the time, but he was very brave. He was going to train with the under-16s, and then I think he quickly went back to the under-23s and then back into first-team football. But he's been brave to go out on loan and to take opportunities every time he's got them. He's brave on the ball. He's a big personality. He's important to the club, you know. He literally stands for something for Chelsea. He's come through the ranks, and I just think he's very brave on the ball as well. You know, he gets the ball to feet, and his first instinct is to see how he can hurt you, and if not, then he's definitely strong enough and capable enough of protecting that ball. So he is an exciting player, and one that everyone knows. Like, when he kicks into gear and he gets his purple patch, he's going to be unstoppable.
And also, Sam, the fact that I don't want to overdo it a little bit because obviously, you know, he's performing really well at the moment, but he's one of those players that you can't buy. You know, he's got everything. This is his club. Like, he's a player that we've developed, that's come through the academy, that knows what it means to be a Chelsea player. And also, when he's at his very best, there's not many players like him in world football that can match what he can do, his physicality and all of what he can do.
Yeah, he's a specimen. Like, he genuinely... When there was conversation about him being on loan again or being bought, like, I know Chelsea fans were upset because they want to see him thrive. They want to see him do well at Chelsea. And I think there's always been that conversation. Will he push through? He's played for quality teams. I think he was probably one of the first academy players that really kicked on through the first team. He gave players like Mason Mount, Chalobah, like, hope that they can get into the first team. And now he's almost had those step backs with the injuries. But now I think he can really kick on, and hopefully he stays injury free, because if he does, he's going to cause a lot of teams trouble.
Yeah, and he's trodden that path, like you said, hasn't he, for the Cobham boys. Right, time to cross to behind enemy lines with TV presenter and pitch side reporter for the Saints, Kenzie Benali.
Hi everyone, I'm Kenzie Benali. I'm a presenter and I'm also a pitchside host at St Mary's Stadium. So what have I made of Southampton's start to the season so far? Well, I think it's fair to say it has been a bit of a mixed bag. I do think it is misleading, though, when you hear that we're yet to pick up our first win, because I think we've seen some hugely positive displays and some really, really encouraging performances. I thought we were fantastic at the Etihad against Manchester City. I think we were really unlucky not to come away with more against the likes of Manchester United. I will say, though, there was an air of frustration and disappointment last time out against Wolves. But look, we've got a young, exciting side. We are still early October, so I don't think it's time to despair just yet. I think when the boys pick up that first win, it will build confidence and hopefully they can just kick on from there. So 2 things I think Chelsea need to be mindful of when they come up against us this weekend. Firstly, our high press and also our strong defence. I think it is going to be a tough match for Southampton, but we've actually had some really positive results against your boys in recent seasons. So despite being the underdogs and Chelsea being one of the favourites to win the league this season, I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say that I think Southampton are going to get a result today. I think that they're going to bring high energy and cause a few problems for the Chelsea backline. Are we missing Danny Ings' goals? Look, I think I'd be a liar if I said no. But it all comes down to confidence again, doesn't it? Because I just think once we bag a few more, it will just really get the ball rolling. I really, really like that Adam Armstrong-Shea Adams partnership. And look, let's give them a little bit of time to settle in. And I think we'll do just fine without Ings in the team. I would also just like to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you because 2 words, Tino Livramento. Wow, what a player. It's actually really easy to forget that he's just 18 years old. He's come in, he's already cemented his place in our starting 11. And he's just incredible, isn't he? I mean, given that Southampton has a reputation for nurturing and developing young talent and how quickly he's settled in already, I think it's pretty exciting, the future he has ahead of him. He's definitely shored us up defensively. He's strong, he's quick, he's versatile, and I am definitely a Tino fan. One of my favourite memories between Southampton and Chelsea would have to be back in 2004-2005 when James Beattie scored the most stunning goal. I'm pretty sure it was Southampton's first touch of the game. It was a half volley from 30 yards out. What a goal that was, and that will certainly live long in the memory, not just for me, but for all Saints fans, I'm sure.
Thank you very much to the brilliant Kenzie Benali for that one little look across our opponents today. Right, boys, it's time for the quiz, OK? So this is a quiz for players that have played for both Chelsea and Southampton, right? I've got 3 clues per player, OK? You only get 1 guess, though, OK? So if you jump in after the first clue, you get 3 points. Jump in after the second question, you get 2 points. Third question, 1 point. However, if you do dive in and you get it wrong, you're frozen out, OK? All right, OK, so let's start. The first player, first clue is signed for us from Wimbledon in 1990. Played for Chelsea and Southampton. OK, I'm going to move on.
Ooh.
Captained us to 5 major trophies. Any guesses? OK, on to the final
I have one, but I don't want to get it wrong.
Same. I don't want to get it wrong.
Final one then. A famous number 11. Number 11, captained us and signed from Wimbledon in 1990.
I don't want to get it wrong.
Any guesses? This is it. That's the final one. No answers? OK, Dennis Wise.
Oh.
And I'll be honest with you, boys. I forgot Wise he played for Southampton, so I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. OK, next one. Again, famous Chelsea players that played for Chelsea and Southampton. Averaged a goal every 2 games for England. Decent record, that. OK, second question. Played against us for Luton Town in the 1994 FA Cup semi-final. Anyone want to jump in? It's a big goal scorer. I'm going to add... this isn't... Ben Andrews apparently has been getting these, I've been told. He's got these all first hand.
Oh, my gosh.
Number 3, final clue. Number 3 on our all-time leading goal scorers list behind Frank Lampard and Bobby Tamblyn. Behind Frank and Bobby Tamblyn. Played for Luton Town. Played for England. Come on, have a guess, one here. Very good friend of Pat Nevin.
My mind's going blank.
OK, time's up. Kerry Dixon.
Oh, my
gosh. I wouldn't have got it anyway.
Boys, the comments are going to be hammering.
Yeah, they're going to be... Listen, the lights...
Any recent generations?
Right,
all right, OK, third one. Right. Represented Great Britain at the 2012 Olympics. Played for Chelsea and Southampton. So this is recent.
Played 2012 Olympics. Bertrand. Don't do that.
That was Dan. I'm being told in my ear. Dan,
No.
3 points. Good work. Good with the other 2. Signed from Gillingham's Academy in 2005.
I was waiting for him to come up.
Made for his Champions League debut in the final against Bayern Munich, of course. Good guess. Right, final one. You need this early as well, Sam, right? Currently a coach who has managed in 7 different countries. Played for Chelsea and Southampton. This is a tough one, mate, and I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to go for broke. Go for a guess. It's go big or bust. Any player.
Oh, my gosh. Mark Hughes.
It's not Mark Hughes. Dan, you got a free run at this, but you've won already, so this is just gloating now. Named his daughter Beatrice Chelsea in honour of his time at the club. You ain't getting that. And the third one is Romanian right back who joined us from Sheffield Wednesday. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Romanian right back, played for Chelsea and Southampton. Dan Petrescu.
Petrescu.
Yeah.
You said it before.
Yeah,
you said it, though.
you're not having that. You're not having
No
that.
way!
You're
I
not
said
having-
that at the same time.
Hey, you've won already, man. Chill out. You're good. You're good.
I said Bertrand at a speed that should be
Right,
VAR. We should VAR.
We'll have a little look at that. We'll have a little look at that whilst we go down, strolling down the Fulham Road. Obviously, masks on as we're going into the mega store.
Safety first.
Safety first as well. So we're gonna come in through the front here. You can see we've got straight away. I mean, this is nice as well. This little bit here.
Feeling.
That-
That same feeling. Look at all these kits, man. It's amazing.
So this is beautiful. This is so obviously Ron Chopper Harris, got Peter Osgood, Peter Benetti back there, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba as well, and this as well. I mean, we can see this little, come on, champions only, little 2 stars above the badge as well. So let's have a wander around the shop then. You can see lots of things. So some lovely canvases as well here. You can buy sort of stuff, and then this is the dream bit as well. Home, away and third shirt. What's your favourite shirt this year?
I think it's the third kit, you know. I haven't stopped looking at it since I've got into the store. It's so good. It is genuinely so good.
So if at some point you wander off and the camera goes missing, it's because you've gone to the till to get one. Yeah. So we've obviously got footballs around here as well, which you can buy footballs, obviously colour coordinated for the kits as well. This is the third shirt that you were on about there, Sam.
Come on, look at it. Look at the detail as well. Like, Nike really took their time out to make sure our third kit is amazing. I'd almost hope that it was our second kit, but, you know, the second kit's actually nice as well, so... Nike, thank you.
This as well, I've not noticed this before, this little detailing inside the shirt. I mean, the detail is stunning, isn't it? There's little bits and pieces. There's the trim along the side as well, which last year we saw had little detail in that as well. We had the guy from Nike on as well, and he said at the start of last season it was to do a sort of representing the club. So there's little details, little touches within that you don't really notice before, but when you see the shirt up close, you absolutely do. Let's go and have a look at the training wear and stuff like over here then. So are you a fan of training wear usually?
I am, you know, and I think I need to start getting more training wear because
Have a look at that beauty.
that is beautiful. But even the tracksuit tops as well. I'll try and turn it so they can see it. I've not seen this yellow one before. And it's quality. It is quality. You can wear this out. You can wear this to the match. If you're going out, you can also wear it. And because we support Chelsea, you know, you've got that pride in you. You can literally wear it everywhere.
You're absolutely right. That's the thing, because again, the guy from Nike that we had on last year on the show, he was saying about shirts nowadays and training wear, they have to be comfortable wearing with jeans because it's like a fashion statement. You're right.
Yeah.
Gone are the days where you'd wear full kit to games. I mean, if you do now, that's credit to you because that's an effort. But it's right. It's got to be a fashion statement, hasn't it?
Yeah, literally. And I think they've done well in terms of the colour, the way they coordinate. See the black and yellow, the blue on blue, the grey as well. They've tried to almost make it good enough to wear out and to wear to matches as well.
Completely right. Let's go upstairs because there's one bit that if you're coming to the megastore, you've got to see. It's really important that you do because coming to the megastore before a game, you know, it might be your first time coming to. You want to come and get your Chelsea bag. You might want to come and buy a new shirt as well. As part of the matchday experience, you can buy programmes from previous games. You can buy. Just downstairs we saw scarves from the Zenit St Petersburg game as well, the half and half sort of scarves. Afternoon, morning, mate. So you've got sort of training wear and stuff like that downstairs. Upstairs, more leisure wear and bits and pieces like that as well. So you've got sort of nice little Chelsea coat here with the detailing as well. I like that where it's like
I've never actually seen that. This is quality.
It's like with a kind of a negative badge, isn't it? It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So you got that, and again, if you're into your golf, like Pat Nevin, regular on the show, he'd love a bit of that. That'll do, Pat, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that looks really nice. I might have to come in there after we start filming and just literally stock up because this is quality.
Right, okay, now this is the moment I want to show you, so we'll have to go round because, again, all one way at the moment, understandably. Again, COVID procedures and stuff like that, we're making sure that everyone's safe inside the mega store. But you can buy everything, little trinkets and bits and pieces. Like you've got Chelsea dogs down here and little bears and stuff like that as well, mascots as well, of course.
For the nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
so we get them in early.
Yeah, exactly right. So, round here, and again, nice new training wear, all bits and pieces up here. Anything you want Chelsea will be in here. You'll find it in some capacity.
Socks, flipping jackets, bottles, anything you want is here. Tyres as well.
Right, let's go over here then, because this is the part. This is the one, right? So obviously, couple of big dates on here, 2012, 2021. I mean, what
can you say? You know what I mean? They had to get this in, and I think what they've done with the design and, you know, you have to have that pride. I might even have to get that because people need to understand we're two-time champions now.
You're absolutely right. I tell you what, I might start coaching as well on a Sunday morning just so I can rock one of these on the touchline. Again, beautiful coat, really nice. Now the weather's changing as well. It's an absolute... We're doing a job for the megastore today, by the way, aren't we?
They might have to hire us.
But this is it. This is what we've come for. Premier League trophy. This is from the 2014-15 season. And the second one's not in here at the moment because it's actually the other side of the stadium in the museum. But 2012 Champions League trophy. Memories of that night? Do you remember it now?
there was a lot of tears and there was a lot of jubilation. And I was very young, so it was quality.
It absolutely was, mate. Well, I'll tell you what, let's hand back to the studio because this is filmed a little bit earlier, which is going to give us just about enough time to go and fill our baskets up because I think me and Sam are going to spend a couple of quid in here. And yeah, we'll catch up with that in a second.
See you next time.
I enjoyed that very much so, very much so. Time to move on to, in case you missed it, a lighter look across social media from this week. And this is our absolute famous thing. If you haven't seen Emma Hayes' reaction to the FA Cup semi-final draw on Wednesday, have we got Manchester City again? Who draws it? Arsenal. She was then told it was Kelly Smith, obviously. Well, there you go. A former Arsenal legend, in fairness, is Kelly Smith. Fantastic player. But we've got Jason Cundy, actually, in the gantry for us, because Jace, do you remember doing the FA Cup draw for us in 2010?
Hey guys, I do remember it. I was with Ginola, and yes, we won that the FA Cup that year.
Who did you draw? Home or away? Who did you draw?
I can't remember, Ben.
Chelsea or Villa?
I can't remember.
Memorable, clearly.
I can't remember. Honestly, it was quite mental, the fact that I was actually making the draw of the FA Cup semi-final. That was the most crazy thing. That you can't believe you're at Wembley doing it. It was a bit surreal, actually, the whole thing. I was doing a radio show that evening on TalkSport, and I had to get on the back of a bike to get to do the show, so it was quite tight. But it was a pretty a crazy afternoon. But all I know is I helped Chelsea win the FA Cup that year.
I can't argue with that, and clearly they rang a lot of people before they got to Jason. All I would say also is, I can't remember seeing it, but did he do the old Rod Stewart? If you haven't seen that, Google, your search engine of choice, Jimmy Greaves and Ian St John doing the Rumbelows Cup draw with Donald Trump, and also search up Rod Stewart doing the Scottish Cup draw a year or two ago. Hilarious.
He's an esteemed company as Jason Cundy, and clearly a real life highlight because he can't remember who he drew, and he only drew 2 teams, so it can't have been that deep, can it? Boys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back very, very soon, though. Don't worry about that. We've got plenty more build-up to Chelsea versus Southampton, live from Stamford Bridge. The Premier League is back. A big game ahead. Time now for the warm-up.
Back to the serious stuff now, folks. They are out warming up, and it is wet. It's really rainy and grey and a bit breezy, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Hopefully it might help the ball slick around a bit in the early part of the game, and that's actually one of our first things we're going to talk about here, Jason and I. The 3 points for 3 points, Jason. It might sound obvious to say have a fast start, but actually you don't always need that, or even want that. Sometimes you want to have a little look at a team and you might, OK, let's not go hammer and tongs early, but tell us why today in particular having a fast start is a factor for you.
Well, I think when you look back at the last 2 performances, we've been dominated in different ways. You look at what happened against Manchester City and against Juve. It's been a strange kind of time for us. And I think we have to reflect and think, do you know what? Actually, we've come a very long way in a very short space of time. But tonight, against Southampton, a team that will probably sit deep at times and squeeze at times, I think we really need to dominate this game. We need to come into this, Ben, and stamp our authority. Don't let Southampton drift into it and gain confidence. I'd love to see us really on the front foot, push into their middle third, into their final third, create chances, cause, and get the fans around Stamford Bridge right now. Get the fans up, because I think that when you're actually looking for a result, you want a fast start, and this is the perfect team to play right now.
Just looking at Ben Chilwell there and thinking suddenly, of course, he'll be up against Tino Livramento, who's done a bit of galloping on this pitch before for the youth team and the PL2 boys, and that'll be a good battle to watch because they can both generate some speed. Certainly, our second point in our 3 points for 3 points is being clinical in front of goal. Jason, I'll give you some numbers. 10 games this season, 15 scored. That's not a lot, but it's not actually new. Under Thomas Tuchel last season, he had 30 games in charge, right? 39 goals scored. So again, only slightly over 1 per game, which is way down on the usual challengers, say, at the top of the table. Of course, what we know is that the clean sheets made the big difference. So is it just a case of that Thomas, first and foremost, sets up to be sound defensively and well organised, and then you build from that? Is that too simplistic a way of looking at it? Is that why Chelsea don't score so many goals?
I think
or is it just bad finishing?
No, I think that's fair. I think there's a combination of both. We have created chances. Look, we weren't brilliant against Juve. We had 4 chances. Havertz had 2. Lukaku had 2. Didn't hit the target with any of them. Against Manchester City, we were dominated. Let's be honest, we were beaten by the better side. Over those 2 games, we've had 1 shot on target. And that doesn't really reflect how the game can go, because you can have chances without hitting the target. The truth is, we haven't had many chances and we haven't hit the target. There's the problem right there. Under Thomas Tuchel, there is only 1 game since he's been here that we have come back from a losing position to win it, and that's Man City away. That's the only game. So if you think about that and think about how we are as a team, the first goal is absolutely crucial, as it always is, but more so under Tuchel's Chelsea, more so. Because if you get the first goal against Chelsea, the chances are you take points. That's the facts. So that's something there has got to change. Not to say today that we need to come back from behind, and let's hope we don't, but the truth is, chances created, shots on target, goals scored, they need to improve.
Fair enough. Just in the interest of absolute accuracy, before you get bombarded on Twitter or before the calls come in, there were actually 2 other games where it happened, but 3 is not very many. Both Sheffield United and Leeds scored first here. Chelsea turned it around to win, but you're right, those 2 and City, it is a rare thing, so you're right, coming from behind has been an issue. So good job, they score first most of the time. The third point, learn the lessons from how Manchester City's press suffocated us.
Yeah.
Explain more on that, Jason, please.
Well, Man City are the best in the business, and they have the system and the players to do it. They don't just press from the front, they press from behind. What I mean by that is they close down areas in the pitch. If they get bypassed, they then close down the heels of a player. So it's literally they swarm. And when they swarm in numbers, and they suffocate areas of the pitch, and they do it consistently well. It's hard to continue to do that. But if you win the ball early, which City did on numerous occasions, then you can rest when you're in possession. So you rest in possession. What we didn't do particularly well against Manchester City is that we didn't break out. We didn't manage to build an attack. We kept possession at times without going anywhere. That's what we need to do, is if Southampton press, and I expect them to do that, Ben, we then need to build an attack on the back of that, moving through the mid-third and into the final third.
And here is one that Jason made earlier on this very subject, a piece of analysis right out of the top drawer for you. Have a look at this.
One of the most impressive part about Man City's game was the high press, and they've done it early. Look at the clock, 1 minute 30 seconds. Half their players, the outfield players, are pressing the ball, squeezing possession, and then they pick it up cheaply. Again, the high press, squeezing everyone, and it's not just the guys at the back, it's also the middle of the park. Werner on this occasion gets dispossessed. There is risk and reward with playing out the back. You can see why. If we bypass the press and we manage to get out, you can only imagine the sort of grass that we've got to get in behind them. But they've done it so well, and I think we have to expect, if Southampton have watched this, and no doubt they will have done, they're going to do something similar. They're a high-pressing team. They get bodies around the ball. On this occasion, we decide to go long. Look at the clock, 5 minutes in. But the problem we've got with that is that half our players are deep. So if we do lose possession, we're now squeezing the pitch. It's really difficult to get out. Again, look at the bodies around the ball. Almost just squeezing. In terms of Jesus on that occasion, he's chasing back, so it's not just squeezing the ball. There are occasions that we can get out. I'd like to see us go a little bit longer and a bit more direct once the squeeze is on. On this occasion, we managed to find Lukaku's feet, and we managed to get ourselves out on the left-hand side. Again, slightly fortuitous the way it finds Lukaku, but you can see now the benefits of that with Werner getting in behind on that occasion. No doubt the gaffer would have worked on this. Can we move the ball a bit quicker? Can we go back to front a little bit earlier? If you bypass the press, you can certainly see the benefits of it, but expect Southampton to do something similar today.
Highly impressive pressing. Now, we've got a very special guest on the gantry here, just for a moment. Bit of a curveball for you folks. You can probably tell by the forehead, it's Kanté Jr., who is at his first Chelsea game today. Jason, take it away. This is introduce the world to Leo.
This is Leonardo. There's a piece in the programme today about me and how I supported Chelsea and what it means to me and what the club means to me and how I support the club. My granddad and my dad and my boys come in. And this is Leonardo's first game here at Stamford Bridge. So, Leonardo, how are you feeling about today's game here at Stamford Bridge?
I'm feeling excited.
What's going to happen today?
Chelsea are going to win.
What do you think of Chelsea Stadium?
Awesome.
And when you watch it on TV, like I told you, because I come to a very different Stamford Bridge, what do you think of? Have a look. Have a quick look now. Have a quick look. This is your first look at Stamford Bridge, and I climbed these same steps back in 1976 to watch Chelsea play Charlton in November of 76. You've done the same thing. The pilgrimage you've taken. That's what it is, a pilgrimage. What is it? What do you think when you see the pitch? Tell me about the pitch.
I think it's wicked.
I think that is considered, measured analysis that his father could learn from, if I'm honest. And he didn't stutter, he didn't punch me in the face, he didn't throw any coffee all over the place. He's done very well indeed. Leo, have a wonderful day, mate, with Mum down there. And let's hope the boys win. We're going to talk a little bit about Ruben Loftus-Cheek now. Now, Ruben is starting today. A rare chance for him to impress from the start, Jason.
Yes.
Let's talk about Ruben.
Yeah, listen, Ruben is an interesting character because we all know what he's got under the bonnet. We all know what Ruben Loftus-Cheek is about. It's about delivering and about giving the opportunity. No, I saw him at Fulham last season, okay, and there were numerous times where you look at him and think, that's not the Ruben I know, that's not the Ruben I see. But this season, with better players and a bigger challenge, I have to say, Ben, I really like what I'm seeing, and I just want him to succeed. I want there to be the Ruben Loftus-Cheek that I thought I was going to see 10 years ago, Ben. 10, maybe longer.
And where do we think? We've already had 2 or 3 people who work for the club we've been talking to up here who've given us different info as to whether Ruben is, 10-ish, 10-ish behind Timo and Lukaku, or if he's in midfield with Cover and Trev is at the back.
I tell you, okay, what's Ruben good at? Ruben's good at driving with the ball, travelling with the ball, getting into that box. That's what he's good at.
So therefore, in front of Kovacic and Trevor Chalobah, somewhere in a sort of the more attacking, the Mason Mount-ish role, Ben, a different player, but in the Mason sort of position.
But Ben, it's not his inclusion that I'm struggling with. It's the team around him that I can't quite place him. I can see him as a player, and I understand and know what he's got under the bonnet. But it's the players around him. You think, where does he fit into this? And there's a number of players. Chalobah. Loftus-Cheek is one of those.
Aspie. Callum.
So how does this system... If it was a 4 today, it wouldn't surprise me. If it was in fact, it would. But do you know the point I'm trying to make? If it was a 4, you say, I can see that. I can see exactly how this team's going to line up. I'm fascinated, absolutely fascinated. Don't forget what Southampton have got today, and the way that City played and the way Southampton played. They are going to deliver problems. They're struggling right now, but they are proven already this season, the points they've taken off United and City, they can actually really hurt good teams.
Timo Werner got a couple of goals against Southampton last season here. He gave, who was it? Roman Bednarek all sorts of trouble running in down that channel there, if you remember. And Jorginho popped a brilliant early ball over to the top of him. If there is any height in Southampton's press, so to speak, their high line, I mean, he will love that in behind, and Ruben could go and join in.
Yeah. And that's what you want. Again, going back to the system, it depends what you want from Ruben, but I feel that this... I've said this many times about Ruben. This is a season to deliver. Again, I'm going to say it. This is the season to deliver. But he's got a chance now because he was on loan last year. Tuchel has come in. He's now playing him. He's brought off the bench. He's now starting him. Come on, Ruben. Take your chance.
Well, let's hope so. And we are going to hear from the boss now, a manager who needs a result, because you know what it's like at this football club. You have a couple of bad ones in a row. And it's only happened to Thomas once before. He lost 3 out of 4 right at the end of last season. FA Cup final, Arsenal and the Villa game on the final day of the season. That was 3 defeats in 4. And that hadn't happened before. 2 in a row. This is only the second time it's happened. I'm sure it won't continue. Let's hear from the gaffer now.
So, Thomas, it's been a testing week, but as a top coach, are these the type of challenges that you really enjoy?
We don't enjoy losing, but we enjoy the challenge and the process, what it does also, because it makes you question everything, it makes you get out of bed early and analyzing everything. So, yeah, this is the job we love also in difficult moments, and this is the job to do. It's important to support and to feel the support and to support the players, and support can sometimes mean that you criticize, that you are honest, sometimes to focus on the positive things. It's tough to accept always losses, but they make you be very aware of how to improve.
You go into this weekend's game just a point off of the league leaders. How pleased are you with that, considering the tough start that you've had?
Yeah, and it's the situation after two losses. It does not feel like this, but it was another competition, and it was a away game in Champions League. These things can happen. Who are we to say like we can never lose? We can obviously lose, and that was proven by Juventus. In the league, we have 13 points and can go to 16. We have a home match, and we want to be active. We want to be entertaining. We want to be aggressive. And if we manage to win, we are in a fantastic position.
On the fitness front, you've got Mason Mount back available again. Tell us what he adds to the dynamic of the group, especially between the lines.
Energy. I mean, it's always very frustrating to be injured, but a little injury like this gives you also a bit of time to breathe. So I felt him very happy to be back on the pitch, very fresh. It was a little break that he maybe could also use in the positive to recover. Yeah, and then about quality and energy is enough said about Mason. We're happy to have him back. He's a crucial player. Every player we miss the qualities and the energy. It's the same for Angie, Christian and Reece James.
You mentioned Christian there. How's he progressing at the moment?
Not so good. He's still a lot of pain that he has to get used to, and there's too much pain to start training with us. So he's still in the individual rehabilitation.
Southampton at the Bridge this weekend. Always a team that seemed to enjoy coming and playing at Chelsea. What do you expect from Ralph Hasenhüttl's side?
Intensity, a very aggressive style in attacking. In our half, they focus on the play without the ball. They focus on defending. They focus on offensive transition. And there's a lot to be focused on, to not be caught in easy ball losses, to not be caught in offensive transition. So it's very important that we close the spaces down while we attack, that we are aware of it, and that we are anticipating very, very good when we decide to go out of the high pressing with short passes. We need to be very aware of our distances, body positioning, and speed of passing. Otherwise, we will have problems.
You mentioned speed there. Nobody scored more first half goals than Chelsea so far this league season. Is a fast start important this weekend?
Would be nice, of course, to grow in confidence and to grow in belief after 2 losses. Can be a bit like test for your patience if it takes long. But you cannot plan it. I even have the feelings, like in general, that our second halves are stronger than the first halves. But obviously we made it happen to score early in the games. But our second halves in the moment are a bit stronger than our first halves. It can happen in football that you face periods where it's like this and you don't have that single reason for it. So we're on it, and hopefully we can start strong to have spectators behind our back to create positive moments to gain confidence.
Thank you. That was Thomas Tuchel speaking to Lee Parker earlier in the week. Right, time to get on to the FPL Stock Report, and we've got good calibre in this as well, because last week we said about Bruno Fernandes and missed the penalty, so we'll take that. You've gone for our player that's rising in stock this week, Sam, on FPL, and you've gone Emile Smith-Rowe.
Yeah, man, he's been quality for Arsenal. I think everyone knew the quality that he had, but obviously he hasn't really had that many games for Arsenal, but I think Arteta's really trying to embed him into the squad this season. And there was questions if he would be able to work with Odegaard, but we saw against Tottenham they're working really well, and he gets goals and he gets assists. So I think his stock is rising. He's in my team, so yeah, he has to do well.
Yeah, he's a very tidy player, and I've gone for a player whose stock's falling, and this is going to seem like I've got some sort of agenda, which I may have, but no, of course I haven't. Jadon Sancho, right? Man United, it's not going great at the moment. It's not going great. Dan's loving this. It's not going great for Man United at the moment. Jadon Sancho is one of my absolute favourite players, but he's not playing.
Yeah.
He's not starting games, so he's a lot of money on FPL. He's going to come good. He's going to be brilliant at the time, but at the moment, he's not playing, so you can't really have him in your team, because if he's not playing, he's not getting you points. So that's the biggest issue with that. If you're playing FPL, by the way, let us know how you're getting on. Why not in the comments below? Let's have some fan reaction then to what we saw a little bit earlier on, and obviously the team news and everything like that's coming out.
So you expecting a reaction from the boys today?
Yeah, we've lost 2, so we should be up for it this one. Yeah.
Are you worried about anything, or are you quite calm?
I'm quite calm, but hopefully Mount's back for Lukaku, get a few more balls through to him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe they'll win like 2-1, I think. But I think they'll win the game, yeah.
Have you been worried in the last few games just because you've lost?
No, not really. I trust this trainer. He's a good trainer, so he's changing, he's improving the team, so it's nice.
I think we've got a strong team and he's going to play Havertz, which will make us win, 100%.
Who's your favourite player, and who do you want to start today?
I would start Rudiger at the back and maybe Havertz to come on in the second half.
So I'd like to see Werner maybe get a few runs. I think he's a good player. I think he'd play well with with Lukaku.
I think the performances weren't great, but I think today we'll turn it around. Confident win, 3-0, something like that.
That young lad has absolutely smashed it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Between him and Mini Cundy. Yeah, between him and Mini Cundy, I'm going to be out of work in not too much longer. Dan, let's have a little chat about today then, mate. Obviously, we've seen the team out now. We saw the warm-ups going on. Southampton are a very good side. You know, they've had some good results this season already against Manchester City, even so recently. So today is going to be a test, but you do back Chelsea to do well, don't you?
Yeah, I'm like the majority of people who was on cam just then. I'm not worried at all. I feel like it happens. Sometimes you lose games that you don't deserve to lose, and other times you lose games that you do deserve to lose. We haven't been terrible. We've just not been able to find a way through. I think today though that will change. I'm quite excited to see Werner back. I feel like his electricity, let's call it, in terms of how much running he does and how much he kind of forces a defence to drop off 10 yards will bring us further up the pitch. And I think it's very important for us to get the first goal, obviously. But I think we'll do it today. I think if you looked at this run of games that we was coming into, this is where we bank on getting points, and we can't get complacent.
Completely agree, mate. Let's have a little look at some of the reaction we're getting on social media then from the team news. Love this lineup. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Timo deserve to start. Ruben will provide that attacking transition required and get those balls to Big Rom and Timo. Yeah, I like that, Yash. Good work. And our very own Abby McCarthy is like, happy to see Ruben, Hudson-Odoi and Chile get starts today. So does Common You Blues need that win. Abby, you're supposed to be with us in the studio today, which is a bit under the weather, so get well soon, Abby, and we'll see you very soon. Here's another one as well. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is forcing his way into the side. That is really impressive for him. Work hard. Your chances would come, should be the message. Tuchel is passing. Yeah, it's absolutely right. That's exactly it, isn't it? He's working hard. The partnership up front between Werner and Lukaku. We've seen Havertz and Lukaku play. Now it's Werner and Lukaku. I suppose that big thing is that you want to find those cliques, those connections, and this is an opportunity for two centre forwards that I suppose their games polarise each other, but they suit each other really.
Yeah, I think there's always been the speculation around Werner. He needs that big man up top. They tried it with Giroud last season. It didn't necessarily work as well as they wanted it to. But I think with Lukaku, I think the exciting thing with those two, they both have qualities, but they can complement each other so well. We haven't seen it yet, but today might be that day where it finally clicks with Loftus-Cheek as well, getting the balls to them as well and driving through the midfield. I think if it clicks, it could be 3-4.
I completely agree. There's a lot that could happen today, and fingers crossed we're hoping for it. Dan, Sam, brilliant, both of you boys, thank you very much. We'll be back at half-time to dissect the game. Hopefully Chelsea will be in a commanding position. Chelsea have scored more first-half goals, as Lee was telling you, with Thomas Tuchel than any other team so far this season. It's time to cross over for first-half commentary with the brilliant Ben Andrews and the full-size Jason Cundy.